50 million years ago, one piece of Earth broke off and got left completely alone. What happened next is the strangest experiment nature has ever run. Meet Tanu. Her ancestors are about to inherit an entire continent, with nobody else around to compete with. While every other continent stayed connected, trading animals back and forth, Australia drifted off the map entirely. No bridges, no visitors, no new blood. So while the rest of the world's mammals went one direction, Australia's took a completely different evolutionary road: the pouch. Marsupials don't grow their babies inside like most mammals. They finish the job outside, safe in a pouch, an entire nursery built into the body. And Australia didn't stop at pouches. It also kept mammals that lay eggs, a rule book nowhere else on Earth still follows. The platypus, fur, milk, a duck's bill, venomous spurs, and it hunts by literally sensing electricity in the water. Scientists genuinely thought it was a hoax. When the first specimen reached London in 1799, researchers assumed someone had sewn a duck onto a mole. That's how far outside the rules this continent operates. Here's the wild part. Cut off from the rest of the world, Australia still built a wolf. Not related to real wolves at all, just arrived at the same design anyway. It happened over and over. Different animals, zero relation, solving the exact same problems the exact same way. Evolution kept finding the same answers twice. But paradise didn't last. Millions of years in, Australia's climate turned on everyone living in it. The continent dried out into the driest inhabited land on Earth. Most animals would have simply left. Here, there was nowhere left to go. So the animals didn't leave. They got weird instead. Frogs that sleep underground for years, kangaroos that barely need to drink, plants that need fire just to be born. Fire wasn't the enemy here. It became a requirement. An entire ecosystem that learned to be reborn from ash. And through all of it, one rule stayed true. Whatever survived here, survived because nothing else was around to wipe it out first. Without outside predators keeping things in check, some species just kept growing. Diprotodon, a wombat the size of a car. 50 million years of this. No new species arriving to compete, correct course, or wipe the slate clean. More of Australia, becoming more of itself. Then, around 65,000 years ago, something finally crossed the water. For the first time, visitors. Humans brought fire, tools, and hunting skills the local animals had never had to prepare for. The isolation that protected everything had also left it unprepared. Within a few thousand years, the giants started vanishing. Megalania, creatures that had ruled for millions of years, gone in a geological blink. Then, around 4,000 years ago, another new arrival showed up, the dingo. And for Tanu's family, that changed everything. Dingoes hunted in packs. Thylacines never had to compete with anything like that before. There had simply never been a need. On the mainland, thylacines couldn't keep up. The species that survived 50 million years of nothing started disappearing the moment something finally showed up. The very last known thylacine died in a Hobart zoo in 1936. 50 million years of evolution, ended by about 200 years of contact. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The same isolation that made Australia's animals so extraordinary is exactly what made them so fragile. Even now, animals that survived 50 years of isolation are more threatened by introduced species than almost anywhere else on Earth. Isolation built them and never prepared them. Whether or not the thylacine is truly, fully gone is still debated. But everything it represents is still very much alive. In 50 million years alone, didn't just make Australia's animals different, it made them a warning label for what isolation can build and what it can't protect against. The experiment is still running. It's just got a lot more visitors now than it ever had before.
If evolution's weirdest experiment just earned a follow-up question in your head, subscribe, because Studio P08 has a lot more of these.